Good morning. Thank you for joining me for 10 minutes to get more. And congratulations. If you're joining me actually now on Monday, 29th of December, massive congratulations to you for dedicating that time to yourself. And hope you've had a wonderful Christmas and looking forward to New Year. So the 21st of December was the solstice, which for us in the UK means it was the shortest day of the year, very short indeed. And for those in the Southern Hemisphere, the longest day. But I love using these natural rhythms of the year as a great point to reflect on things. It's also coming up to the new calendar year, obviously, on the 1st of January 2026, OMG. So it's a really great time to use our ingrained sort of desire to reflect and make changes at this time of the year and see what we want to do differently in 2026. But habits are really hard to build. So, for example, if you think about one resolution I've made many times and now given up on is to go to the gym more, to exercise more. Making that resolution in January is really, really hard. The impact is somewhat intangible and distant, like you're not going to get immediate gratification from it. It's dark, it's cold, and you're also trying to go from one extreme to the other because you're going from like Christmas, it's cozy, it's dark, you're eating lots, you may be drinking lots, and then you're trying to go to the other extreme of being really super healthy. And it's a big jump to make. And then we can get disheartened when it doesn't happen. So today I'm going to be sharing some tips about how to build new habits to do with all areas of your life, but obviously we'll also have a think about how it applies to work. And I'm going to use the pilot principle, which is my key 4 pillars and ways of working, so we can build a completely rounded action plan so that you can make 2026 different. Now, the first column on the pilot principle is all about self-leadership. And what does self-leadership mean when it comes to making habits? Often, our resolutions are kind of all or nothing. I will go to the gym 3 times a week, every week, otherwise I've failed. Or I will start to learn Spanish on Duolingo and I have to do it every single day, otherwise I've failed. And what that means is we can often trip ourselves up because as soon as we fail, we've got no way of getting back on the horse. We just feel like a failure. And often these resolutions are very big and very long. You need to do it for the whole year to be successful. And that makes it really difficult to keep up with because life be lifing. So a concept I really love, rather than resolutions where we have to stick to specific things every day or every week for a year, is to have a bingo card. So my nan that used to love playing bingo. So instead of saying I must do these things all the time, you have the chance to win and get a sticker on your bingo card. So maybe you have 12 or so, up to you how many you want to have, things on your bingo card for the year. So that could look like trying a new exercise class. It could look like visiting a new country. It could look like going to a Spanish language exchange event, for example. So rather than berating yourself for not doing something every day, it's more like you get the chance to get a sticker. And it might sound childish, but adults also love stickers, like we're all children at heart. That's a really fun thing to do. Another option that I really like instead of resolutions that are really set in stone is having a one-line plan. And this was borrowed from my wonderful friend who's also a coach, Robbie Swale. He has a one-line business plan, which is to follow the feeling. So this is where you kind of set your North Star for the year. I want to do more of this and less of this. It's kind of a one-line strategy for your life. So every day, you don't have to know exactly what's going to happen, but every choice you make can take you closer to the thing you want and away from the thing you don't want. So if I'm going back to that gym example, it could be, this is the year that I get stronger. This is the year I get stronger and healthier. So every decision you make, you can say, is this taking me closer to stronger and healthier or away from stronger and healthier? And in the moment, that helps you make the decision. So the next step on the pilot principle is all about skill. So this is the skill to get the thing done you want to get done. And in the case of resolutions, when we're often starting something new or changing something, you obviously won't have the skill straight away. So what I'm going to talk about today is the skill to work out how to do it and the skill to keep going. So as humans, we often have this tendency to write enormous to-do lists that overwhelm us because what we're writing down is not a task. We're often writing down a project. So for example, if you're saying, I want to lose 10 kilograms or I want to be able to lift a 70 kilo deadlift, that is a huge project that takes a lot of work and effort and many different parts of your life will combine into it. So when we look at that on a to-do list, it feels impossible. It's too big, right? So we need to break things down into smaller tasks. In terms of work, I would say that tasks are normally things that should be completed in 10 minutes or less. And if it takes longer than 10 minutes, you need to time block it into your diary. So if you wanted to learn Spanish, for example, you might set yourself an alarm at 5 p.m. and do 10 minutes of Duolingo. And then you might set yourself a half an hour task of researching Spanish language exchange or finding a real life tutor, for example. So you're not putting learn Spanish on your to-do list because that feels so big and overwhelming. We need to break it down into smaller steps. There's a great book called Atomic Habits, and this is where I learned about the concept of habit stacking. So once you've broken down your bigger project into smaller tasks, the ones that you want to do regularly every day or every week, you can attach them to other habits you already do. So for example, when I have my morning coffee, I'm going to do my Duolingo. First thing in the morning is when I'm going to go to the gym, because every day you wake up, every day you brush your teeth, every day you have a cup of coffee, maybe every day you have lunch, every day you finish work. These are all great moments to attach a new habit, and it's the easiest way to build a new habit, to stack it on top of another one that you already do without fail every day. And if you manage that for a couple of months, that will become a habit within itself. The other thing in this area of skill that I want to share is how to make it easier to do it than to not do it. So you've probably all heard the example of going to sleep in your gym clothes in the morning. It's actually harder to take them off and put normal clothes on. Have your trainers by the door. And in terms of at work and in your career, this can look like setting yourself up for success by knowing what you're going to do tomorrow before you finish the day today. So when you come in the morning, you're not overwhelmed with emails and demands and projects because you already know what your priorities are for the day, and they're the big things that you need to get done. So make it easier to do the thing you want to do rather than to not do it. Next up in the pilot principle is the concept of support. So support always goes opposite self-leadership, because we can always step up and take ownership, but we need a supportive environment around us for that to be sustainable. So this could be like looking like getting help from people who've done this thing before, working with experts, learning from experts. So you could pay a trainer or a coach, for example, to help you do something. So that's in the gym example, having a personal trainer that can show you how to do things specific to your goals versus going into the gym and just picking up some weights and not knowing what you're doing. And obviously at work, there are people like me who support people to do better in their careers and to make really conscious decisions. What works here about having support as well is they become an accountability buddy. So lots of us do much better when we know that we've promised to somebody else that we're going to do something, or we have someone else waiting for us at the gym, or we know that at the end of the week we have to tell somebody how far we got with the project that we said we were going to work on. A nice way to get that kind of accountability, if that's you that works well with that kind of accountability, is body doubling. So this is where you join someone else to do work, even though you're doing completely different stuff. And there's online versions of this now. So you could either go in person and work alongside somebody, or there's a great website called Flow Club. There's many different options where you can join an online Zoom class. At the beginning, you say what it is you're going to work on. Everybody mutes and you work alongside them. But just knowing that there are people working with you can help you get more done. The last pillar of the pilot principle here is slick communication. So this is about communication with others, of course, and I just talked about accountability, but also with ourselves. How we speak to ourselves really matters and really changes how resilient we can be and how much fun we have in doing the thing that we're trying to get done, right? There's no point having a resolution that's really a grind to get done. So when you speak to yourself in terms of I must do this or I should do this, it can feel very authoritative. It can feel like a teacher's telling you or a parent is telling you need to do it. And often the little rebel in us can be like, well, I don't want to do that, okay? I must do it, but I don't want to. So see if you can catch yourself if you use that kind of language and change it to, I get to. I get to choose to do something. So rather than I have to go to the gym today, we can say, I get to go to the gym today. I get to go to my spin class today, whatever it is, because that makes us feel like it's an opportunity. And really it is, because not everybody is capable of doing things all the time, and you never know what's going to happen in life. So we really do get to take this opportunity. So I've mentioned some people work really well with, some people work really well with having an accountability buddy, and some people are a little bit rebellious. And obviously we all have a bit of a mixture. Click on this QR code. I really, really love this quiz. It's called the 4 Tendencies quiz. And it's how we manage accountability, whether we're good with having accountability to others or ourselves, or something completely different. After you take the quiz, Gretchen Rubin will share with you different ways to work according to your personality type. So this is a really great quiz to get to know yourselves better. So taking it back to the gym example now, we've got the 4 pillars. Instead of, I should go to the gym 3 times a week, every week of the year, otherwise my resolution has failed. It now might start to look like, I get to go to the gym or a spin class every week. I get a sticker or a treat when I've done 3 different kinds of exercise classes. I'll be meeting my personal trainer or my friend there, so I don't want to let them down. And my clothes are by the bed and my trainers are by the front door and my smoothie is prepped, so it's really, really easy. And think about now how you could apply that in terms of a new job. It could look like, I get to test out new ways of working and being in this new job. I get a treat when I challenge myself to do 3 new things that I haven't done before. I'll be sharing this and getting accountability from my coach or from my mentor. And every day I'm setting myself up for success by knowing what tasks I need to do the next day. So feel how different that is, rather than feeling in a new job you have to prove yourself or do something completely differently. Now, if you'd like a bit of help with that, if you are in a new role or you have a new role coming up, I have a program called Momentum, which is ideal for you if you are stepping up into a new role, such as, for example, going from individual contributor to managing people, or if you're going from an individual in a country-sized role into a regional role, for example, and you need to change the way that you're working. You need to come across more senior, more strategic, but you still want to be likable, right? And you want to be better than they expected. Most of the people I'm working with are pretty good at making themselves look good in the interview, and then the fear starts to set in and you're like, have I oversold myself? Am I going to be as good as they expect? And Momentum is there to help you be even better than you expected. So if you're interested in this 100-day accelerator, where I'll be supporting you every week with exactly this kind of stuff, building habits, having accountability, and also upskilling you in those 4 different areas, have a look on the QR code or drop me a note. I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful 2026, and I'd love to hear from you how this all landed.